My dear friends and masters and gods of India and the whole world, we have to understand that we are all gods. What are we? We are gods. We are not this matter which we see in a mirror. We are not these physical bodies which we see in the mirror. There are four verities: matter, energy, thought and consciousness. Consciousness is the fundamental verity, the first verity. Thought is the function of consciousness. Energy is the production of thought, and matter is the crystallization of energy. In meditation, we dwell at the level of consciousness, pure consciousness, sans any thoughts, sans any waves. So, what is meditation? Meditation is losing your body consciousness, losing your mind consciousness, losing your intellect consciousness and dwelling in your soul consciousness. That is the purity of consciousness itself. When we are in the body, in our normal day, we are living in body consciousness. And we have a mind consciousness. Wherever we are born, if we are born in a Christian society, we have got a Christian mind. If we are born in a Hindu society, we are endowed with a Hindu mind consciousness. So on and so forth. And we have an intellect consciousness, which is the sum total of our previous lifetime's experiences in terms of wisdom. That is the intellect consciousness. Meditation means to transcend our body consciousness, to transcend our mind consciousness, to transcend our intellectual consciousness, and to stay in the purity of consciousness itself. That is meditation. When we come back from the state of meditation into our day-to-day life, our intellect consciousness becomes that much more sharper, that much more wiser. Our mental consciousness, mind consciousness, that becomes that much more peaceful, that much more powerful. And the body consciousness becomes absolutely energetic. My dear friends, from time to time we have to go into the state of meditation, the state of pure consciousness. Meditation is pure consciousness sans any tinge of the body or the mind or the intellect. Body has got its own consciousness, the mind consciousness and the intellect consciousness. We are going to the pure consciousness, that is meditation. We have to come out of our body level activity, our mind level activity and our intellect level of activity, going to pure consciousness, that is meditation. The body has been given by the parents, the body has been taken from the parents, the mind has been given by the society, the mind has been taken from the society, the intellect is the product of our previous lifetimes. This is not the first lifetime that we are here, this is the nth lifetime. My dear friends, the sum total of the wisdom of all our lifetimes is called as intellect. The soul takes a number of incarnations. On an average, it takes about 300 to 400 incarnations. The soul is the entity. The soul is the pure consciousness out for a bout of experience, a series of bouts of experiences on the earth plane. That is what is human cycle. My dear friends, how do we understand that we are not the physical bodies, that we have got a number of lifetimes behind us and in front of us? How do we know all these things? How did Jesus Christ come to know of it? How did Lord Krishna come to know of it? How did Lord Buddha come to know of it? How? Because they have done meditation. Because they have become masters of meditation. Because they have silenced their minds. Because they have learned to dwell in pure consciousness. Because they have learned to come out of the body consciousness, the mind consciousness and the intellect consciousness from time to time. And my dear friends, they have become the lights of the world. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. Buddha is the light of the world. Krishna is the delight of the world. My dear friends, we have to become ourselves similarly lights of the world and delights of the world. Delight comes from light. Where there is no light, where is delight? Light comes from meditation. Where there is no meditation, there is no light. And where there is no light, there is no delight. There is dukkha in life, there is misery in life, there is tragedy in life, there is incompetence in life, there is failure in life. Meditation gives you success in life, efficiency in life, fulfillment in life, purpose in life, health in life, vigor in life, peace in life, harmony in life. Life is a joy. Life is meant to be a joy forever. Life is meant to be a delight forever. Unless we understand ourselves in our own true totality, how can there be joy in our lives? Sans meditation, there is no joy in life. Sans meditation, there is no peace of the mind. Lord Jesus Christ said about the peace that passeth understanding. What is that peace that passeth understanding? Normal peace, when you have some money in your pocket, you have got peace of mind. When you have a nice wife and 2 kids, it's a nice feeling. But what about the peace that passeth understanding? That is obtained through meditation. My dear friends, when we are in meditation, we are one with the whole creation and the totality of the Creatorhood. That is meditation. In sleep, we are just out of the physical bodies. But in meditation, we are one with the whole creation. Sleep is a distant cousin of meditation. Meditation is the prime purpose of human life. We have given so much time to sleep, but we have forgotten meditation. The time has come for the whole humanity to be as aware of meditation, the science of meditation, as they are aware of the sleep. The time has come for the whole humanity to be aware of the urgent need for meditation. Make it a daily part. As we go into sleep, we have to go into meditation. The more you do meditation, the less you require sleep. The more you do meditate, the less you require food. More food for consciousness is less food for the body. My dear friends, only after meditation do we understand the greatness of the physical body and the physical life. Before meditation, we tend to discount the greatness of the physical body or the magnificence of the physical life. We throw away our physical body, we commit suicide. My dear friends and masters and gods of India and the whole world, what a plot on human consciousness suicide is. No animal commits suicide, only human beings commit suicide. Animal world is a magnificent world. All animals live in pure consciousness. My dear friends, what is meditation? Meditation is being with your own self, loving your own self, spending time with your own self. As you spend time with your husband, with your wife, with your kids, with your fellows, with your friends, with your neighbors, you've got to spend time with yourself. That is meditation. Every day you must sit in a corner of your own room. Sit happily in a chair, cross your feet, relax yourself totally, close your eyes and be with your breath. And don't open your eyes, come what may. Everybody needs to meditate for as many times as possible every day. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 1 hour here, 2 hours there, whenever you find time. Whenever there is no other urgent work on your agenda, meditation is the urgent need, urgent item on your day-to-day agenda's list. The science of meditation is very simple. When you are with the breath, the mind becomes empty. That is the first law of the science of meditation. There are 3 laws, my dear friends, my dear masters and my dear gods of India and the whole world. Today, you will understand the 3 laws of the science of meditation. The first law says, when you are with the breath, the mind becomes empty. My dear friends, just as there are 3 laws of motion, there are 3 laws of thermodynamics, there are 3 laws of the science of meditation. The first law says, when you are with your breath, the mind becomes empty. Breath is not a part of the body, but it is in the body. Breath is not anything material, but it is sufficiently material for you to concentrate your mind upon. Breath is an incessantly happening thing. Breath does not age. Breath is the ambassador of pure consciousness in the physical body. Breath is universal, simple, can be understood, can be grasped, can be attuned to. You have to attune yourself to the breath. When you attune yourself to the breath, the mind becomes empty. That is the first law, the first great law of this great science of meditation. There are three great laws of the science of the great science of meditation. Let me recap again, my dear friends. Meditation means silencing the mind. And how do? You begin with the breath. You don't begin with any chanting. Chanting doesn't play any part in the science of meditation. The mouth has to be kept shut. The mouth is a part of this world. It's not a part of the science of meditation. The mouth has no role whatsoever. Up above the mouth there is the nose, and within the nose there is the breath. That's where meditation begins. That is the alpha. Breath is the alpha of the science of meditation, and the omega of the science of meditation is the third eye. My dear friends, my dear masters, my dear gods of India and the whole world, remember this point. The mouth does not play any role whatsoever. The mouth needs to be shut, sealed. Similarly, since meditation is silencing the mind, we can't have any mental image to concentrate upon. If you concentrate upon some mental image, your mind, it increases its own strength. We have to make the mind zero. So, no mental image whatsoever. No visualization. Don't keep some spot in your third eye area and try to concentrate. It's all wrong. No mental image and no sounds in the mouth. No mantras in the mouth. No mental images in the mind. The mind has to be with the breath. This is the bottom line. Unless the mind is with the breath, the mind does not become empty. The mind has to become empty. The mind has to lose all its mental images, Hindu images, Christian images, Islamic images, communist images, atheistic images, theistic images, Buddhistic images, my dear friend. The mind has to become empty. That is meditation. And the science of meditation has got three laws, three great laws. The first law is, when you are with the breath, the mind becomes empty. The second great law says, when the mind is empty, huge amounts of cosmic energy flood into the body, into the physical system. That is the great second law of the science of meditation. The mind is a barrier. It doesn't allow cosmic energy to enter into the physical system. When the mind is like a forest, it is a great barrier. It does not allow any cosmic energy to seep into the physical body. It is so very impermeable, solid. But when the solid mind becomes a liquid mind or even a gaseous mind, there is so much porosity. The mind becomes semi-permeable and the cosmic energy floods into the body. The mind needs to be emptied. The mind is the separator from the physical energy. It is a dividing line between the physical energy and the cosmic energy. Between the physical energy ball and the cosmic energy ball, it is a separating line. It is a solid line when the mind is like a forest, all wasteful thoughts. It is a semi-permeable membrane when mind is rather emptied. So to make your solid mind into a liquid mind where there is more porosity, where there are less number of thoughts, where there are more number of gaps, that is meditation. And the way is to be with your breath. My dear friends, there are three great laws of the great science of meditation. The first great law says, when you are with the breath, the mind becomes empty. The second great law says, when the mind is empty, huge amounts of cosmic energy flood into the physical body. Because the barrier has become porous. Because the barrier has become semi-permeable. You understand the osmotic pressure, the root system, how the nutrients from outside enter the root system of any plant. Because the tip of the root is semi-permeable. You know all these things. The same thing happens when the mind is in meditation. The mind becomes semi-permeable. The solid barrier becomes a porous barrier where huge amounts of energy do come into the physical body. The third great law says, my dear friends, when this cosmic energy enters into the physical body and the physical body becomes saturated with the cosmic energy, the result is the third eye. The result is activating our inner senses. The result is activating our extrasensory perception. The result is activating our soul nature. The result is acquiring the soul. The soul acquires the soul. The soul has lost the soul. The paradise has been lost. The paradise is regained when the physical body is saturated with the cosmic energy. This is the great third law. To simply put, the third law says, when the body is saturated with cosmic energy, the potential becomes kinetic. Otherwise, the potential remains a potential. A dry potential doesn't become kinetic whatsoever. The soul has got infinite potential in infinite directions. All that is dead as long as you don't awaken your soul. Instead of being body-mind entities, we have to become body-mind-soul entities. That is where the science of meditation chips in. My dear friends, my dear masters, my dear gods of India and the whole world, we are onto a series of wisdom lectures, experience lectures on the science of meditation. The science of meditation is the most magnificent and fundamental science and mother of all sciences. Only the science of meditation is the science of health. The science of meditation is the science of joy. The science of meditation is the science of power and energy. The science of meditation is the unifying science. It unifies all the divided sects of humanity. Today, we have learned the basics of the science of meditation. We shall keep expanding on all these basics, add on special features, extra features as we go ahead, my dear friends, my dear masters, and my dear gods of India and the whole world. For the present, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.